My name is Elizabeth Carter. I'm 34 years old, 8 months pregnant, and standing in my parents' kitchen with contractions so strong they make my knees buckle. "Mom," I gasp, gripping the counter. "I think it's time." My mother barely looks up from her phone. "Already?" Another contraction tears through me. I cry out quietly, trying not to panic. Dad sighs from the dining table. "Didn't the doctor say first babies take forever?" "I can't drive myself," I whisper. Mom finally stands, annoyed instead of concerned. "Well, what do you expect us to do? We had dinner plans." I stare at her, stunned. "You're serious?" She grabs her purse. "Elizabeth, women give birth every day. Call a cab." The room goes silent except for my ragged breathing. My husband Marcus is 3 states away for work after his flight got delayed because of a storm. My best friend Rachel is at a conference. My parents are all I have tonight. Or at least I thought they were. "Mom," my voice cracks. "Please." She walks toward the door. "Don't make this dramatic." The front door shuts. And, just like that, I'm alone. Another contraction hits harder than before. I collapse against the wall, crying from pain and disbelief. My own parents left me while I was in labor. My hands shake as I order a cab. The driver arrives 20 minutes later, a gray-haired man named Yusuf. One look at me and his face changes instantly. "Oh my God," he says. "You're having the baby now?" I think so." He helps me into the car gently, like I matter. Unlike my parents. Halfway to the hospital, my water breaks. Yusuf runs every red light he can. By the time we arrive, nurses rush me into delivery while Marcus screams through FaceTime, desperate and helpless. And through all the pain, one thought repeats in my mind. 7 exhausting hours later, my daughter is born. Tiny. Perfect. Beautiful. I hold her against my chest and cry harder than I did during labor. "She's incredible," Marcus whispers through tears on the phone. Then my phone buzzes. A text from Mom. "Hope everything went okay. Send pictures when you can." No apology. No regret. Nothing. I stare at the screen in disbelief. Something inside me changes forever. 3 days later, I bring my daughter home. Marcus finally made it back the morning after the birth, devastated he missed it. But he hasn't left my side since. We name our daughter Lily Grace Carter. For one peaceful day, it feels like maybe we can focus on being a family. Then my mother shows up unannounced. She walks in carrying balloons and stuffed animals like nothing happened. I freeze. Marcus immediately stiffens beside me. Mom reaches for Lily, but I step backward instinctively. "What?" "Oh, Elizabeth, not this again." "Not this again?" My voice rises. "I was in labor." Dad walks in behind her carrying flowers. "Your mother said you'd still be emotional." Marcus loses it. "Emotional?" he snaps. "She could have died." Mom folds her arms. "Don't exaggerate." I stare at her, unable to believe she's real. "You told me to call a cab." "And you did," she replies. "Everything worked out." That sentence hits harder than the contractions ever did. Everything worked out. Like my pain only mattered because the ending was okay. Mom reaches for Lily again. "Now let me hold my grandbaby." "No." The room goes still. Mom blinks. "Excuse me. You don't get to pretend nothing happened." Dad scoffs. "You're punishing us over one misunderstanding?" Mom's face hardens instantly. "Oh, please. When I gave birth, nobody babied me." She rolls her eyes dramatically. "I knew motherhood would make you dramatic." That's the moment something snaps inside me. I walk to the front door and open it. "You need to leave." Yes. Instead, I spend 3 straight days staring at an unopened envelope sitting on the kitchen counter. My mother's handwriting. Marcus notices immediately. "You don't have to open it." But part of me needs to know. Finally, after Lily falls asleep, I slide my finger under the seal. Inside is a pink birthday card covered in glitter. And a check for $5,000. The note inside makes my stomach twist. For Lily's future. No child deserves to grow up separated from her grandmother. Not. I'm sorry. Still never sorry. I stare at the check. $5,000 would help. Daycare costs are crushing us. Marcus picked up overtime shifts. I've been freelancing at night after Lily sleeps just to keep up with bills. Mom knows that. Which makes this feel even dirtier. She thinks I'll fold, I whisper. The next morning, my Aunt Linda calls. Your mother's devastated you haven't responded. I'm not cashing it. Silence. Then a disappointed sigh. Elizabeth, maybe this is her olive branch. No, I say quietly. An apology would be an olive branch. No note. Just the check. 3 days later, my phone explodes with messages from relatives. She was trying to help. You're holding a grudge. Life is too short. Funny how nobody said life was too short when I was crying alone in labor. Mom leaves one final voicemail that night. You're poisoning Lily against her own family. Then I walk into Lily's room. She's asleep with one tiny hand curled beside her face. Safe. Loved. Protected. And suddenly I realize something important. Breaking toxic cycles feels cruel to the people who benefited from them. For the first time in months, Dad shows up without Mom. Older than I remember. I just want to talk. He sits stiffly on the couch while Lily plays on the floor nearby. For several awkward minutes, he watches her quietly. Then he says something unexpected. She looks like you did at that age. My chest tightens. Because despite everything, part of me still wants my father. Still wants him to choose me. I miss you, he says finally. The words hit hard. Your mother's falling apart. Of course. It never is. She cries every day. I stare at him. Did she cry when she left me during labor? Dad rubs his forehead tiredly. We made a mistake. That's the first honest thing either of you has said. He looks ashamed for exactly 2 seconds before defending her again. You know how your mother is. And there it is. You know how she is. Translation. Accept the pain quietly. Keep the peace. Sacrifice yourself. No, I say softly. I'm done accepting that. Dad watches Lily wobble across the carpet toward me. She lifts both arms instantly, trusting me completely. The sight seems to affect him deeply. She really loves you. I kiss Lily's forehead gently. She'll never question whether I'll show up for her. Dad looks down. And for the first time in my life, I think he understands exactly what I meant. My cousin Natalie gets married in October. The entire family will be there, including my parents. I almost decline immediately. But Natalie calls personally. Please come, she begs. I don't want family drama ruining this. Family drama. That phrase again. As if abuse becomes smaller when renamed. Still, I agree for Natalie's sake. The moment Marcus and I enter the reception hall carrying Lily, the room changes. Conversations stop. Eyes follow us everywhere. Mom sits at the far table wearing a pale blue dress, pretending not to stare. Dad looks nervous. For 2 solid hours, everyone behaves carefully. Then alcohol enters the equation. My mother corners me near the dessert table. You brought Lily dressed like that? I blink in disbelief. Lily is wearing a cream-colored baby dress. What's wrong with it? She looks cold. Mom ignores him completely. You always were defensive. I feel my pulse rising. Don't do this tonight. But she leans closer. You've turned everyone against me. No, I say quietly. Your actions did that. Her eyes flash with anger. You think you're such a perfect mother? The words land exactly where she intended. Every parent fears failing their child. Mom knows that. Always knows where to cut deepest. But before I can respond, Natalie suddenly steps between us. Enough. Natalie rarely confronts anyone. You are not ruining my wedding, she says firmly. And for the first time ever. 104 degrees. Marcus drives while I sit in the backseat crying as Lily whimpers weakly in my arms. Every terrifying possibility races through my mind. At the emergency room, doctors reassure us it's a severe viral infection, but nothing life-threatening. Still, those 6 hours feel endless. At 3 a.m., exhausted and emotional, I suddenly remember labor night. The loneliness, the fear, the abandonment. And I break down completely in the hospital bathroom. Marcus finds me shaking beside the sink. She's okay, he whispers. I know. Then what is it? I wipe tears angrily. I can't imagine leaving her when she needs me. His face softens immediately. And suddenly I realize something devastating. Becoming a mother didn't make me understand my parents more. It made me understand them less. One afternoon, my elderly neighbor, Mrs. Delaney, stops me while I'm checking the mail. I need to tell you something. Her voice sounds nervous. Okay. She glances around before speaking quietly. The night you went into labor, your mother came back. I freeze. What? She returned about an hour later. I saw her car outside. She didn't come in? Mrs. Delaney hesitates. No. She sat in the driveway for maybe 10 minutes. Then she left again. I feel physically sick. Mom came back. She knew I was alone. And she still drove away. That hurts even more somehow. Because it means she had a chance to choose differently. And consciously chose herself instead. Marcus has been patient for almost 2 years. But patience has limits. She is manipulating our child now. I know he's right. Lily is old enough to recognize the word grandma. Old enough to ask questions soon. Marcus packs the dollhouse back into its box immediately. We're sending it back. Not because I want it. Because confrontation still exhausts me. Marcus kneels beside me gently. You don't owe your parents access to Lily just because they keep demanding it. Tears burn my eyes instantly. Because deep down, some wounded part of me still thinks maybe I do. At preschool pickup, Lily's teacher approaches me carefully. There was a woman asking about Lily today. She said she was Lily's grandmother. My heart nearly stops. Did she see her? No, the teacher says quickly. We followed protocol. I thank her shakily before getting Lily into the car. The moment we get home, I call Marcus. She went to Lily's school. Silence. Then pure fury. And as I tuck her into bed, I realize something terrifying. My mother doesn't want reconciliation. She wants access. Dad suffers a mild heart attack in February. The phone call comes from Aunt Linda. He keeps asking for you. For hours, I sit frozen. Marcus tells me gently, whatever you decide is okay. But guilt is complicated. Smaller somehow. Real tears this time. The words shatter something inside me. Because I waited my whole life to hear them. I should have protected you from her. I sit beside him quietly holding his hand. And, for the first time, I finally stop blaming only my mother. During Dad's recovery, he tells me things I never knew. Mom wasn't cruel only to me. She isolated him too. Controlled friendships. Manipulated relatives. She always needed to be the center of everything, he says tiredly. Suddenly my childhood makes horrifying sense. Every birthday ruined. Every achievement minimized. Every boundary punished. Dad looks devastated. But silence protects abusers. Not families. Spring arrives warm and bright. Lily runs through the backyard laughing while Marcus grills dinner nearby. Peaceful. Safe. Normal. Something I once thought families like mine could never become. A text from Mom. Your father says you visited him. I deserve another chance too. I stare at the screen for a long time. Then I type carefully. 3 dots appear instantly. Then disappear. No reply comes. And strangely, Not guilty. Not angry. Just clear. Because protecting Lily is no longer a difficult decision. It's the easiest one I've ever made. Lily turns 3 in June. That evening, Marcus listens quietly while I pace the living room. I can barely breathe. She tried taking Lily. The world tilts sideways. She said you'd sent her. My knees nearly buckle. Thankfully, the daycare staff followed strict verification procedures. Lily never left the building. But the fact that my mother attempted it at all changes everything. I drive home shaking violently. Marcus meets us at the door and instantly knows something is wrong. When I tell him, his face goes white with fury. She tried to take our daughter. That night, we file a police report. Not because charges will stick, but because documentation matters. And for the first time since Labor Night, I feel genuinely afraid of my mother. A few nights after the daycare incident, Lily wakes up screaming. Not crying. Screaming. Marcus and I rush into her room. She take me. Lily sobs hysterically. My blood runs cold. Who, baby? The angry grandma. I feel sick instantly. At daycare, Mom apparently argued loudly when staff refused to release Lily. Lily heard everything. Now my daughter is having nightmares because of my mother. I hold Lily tightly while she shakes in my arms. No one is taking you, I whisper over and over. But after she finally falls asleep again, I sit on the hallway floor and cry silently. Because this is exactly what I fought to prevent. The fear. The instability. The emotional chaos. It reached Lily anyway. 2 weeks later, I start therapy again. Not because I'm weak. Because generational damage doesn't disappear simply because you recognize it. Dr. Evans listens quietly while I explain everything. The labor night. The manipulation. The guilt. The daycare incident. Finally, she asks gently, "What's the hardest part?" I answer instantly. A piece of me still wants my mom to love me correctly. The words break something open inside me. Because there it is. The real wound beneath all the anger. Not losing my mother. Never truly having one. Mom corners me publicly at a community fall festival. In front of dozens of people. Lily is holding my hand when Mom suddenly appears. There's my baby. Lily immediately hides behind my leg. Mom's smile falters. I keep my voice calm. You need to leave. Instead, she raises her voice dramatically. You stole my granddaughter from me. People begin staring instantly. Old Elizabeth would have panicked. Would have apologized. Explained. Minimized. Not anymore. I crouch beside Lily calmly. Go stand with Daddy. Marcus immediately steps forward. No manipulation. No guilt. Just him. Lily is cautious at first, but eventually she lets him help build block towers. I watch carefully from the kitchen. Dad looks emotional the entire time. At one point, Lily laughs loudly after he makes a silly dinosaur noise. And my father bursts into tears. Real tears. I missed so much, he whispers. Not because he deserves automatic forgiveness. Handwritten. No blame. No manipulation. No guilt. I know you probably won't believe this, but I've started therapy. Your father leaving forced me to confront things I refused to see. I was cruel to you. Especially the night Lily was born. I reread this sentence 5 times. I was cruel to you. It's the first genuine accountability I've ever received from her. You needed your mother, and I abandoned you. I cry for almost an hour after reading it. Not because everything is magically fixed. Because after years of denial, she finally said the truth out loud. Snow falls softly outside while Lily tears open presents in fuzzy reindeer pajamas. Marcus sips coffee beside me, smiling sleepily. Peace fills the house completely. Later that afternoon, I step outside alone holding Mom's letter. I still haven't responded. Maybe someday I will. Maybe I won't. Healing isn't linear. Forgiveness isn't automatic. And accountability doesn't erase damage. But for the first time in years, I no longer feel consumed by anger. Inside, Lily laughs loudly as Marcus helps her assemble a toy kitchen. My family, the one we built ourselves. Not perfect, but safe. And as I stand there listening to my daughter laugh, I finally understand something important. Breaking cycles isn't about becoming fearless. It's about choosing love even after you've experienced its absence. By early spring, life finally settles into something steady. Not perfect, but peaceful. Lily is almost 4 now, full of non-stop questions and dramatic opinions about everything from bedtime to broccoli. Marcus jokes that she inherited my stubbornness. One Saturday morning, we take her to the park near the lake. The air smells like fresh grass and rain, and for the first time in years, I catch myself relaxing completely. Then I see her. My mother. My entire body freezes instantly. Marcus notices my expression and turns sharply. His jaw tightens the moment he spots her. Mom doesn't approach immediately. That alone feels strange. The old version of her would have marched over demanding attention. Instead, she stands awkwardly holding a paper coffee cup with both hands. Lily keeps playing, unaware. I'll take her to the slide, Marcus says quietly. As soon as they walk a few feet away, Mom steps closer carefully. For years, I imagined this moment differently. A screaming match. Another manipulation attempt. More guilt. But she just looks tired. I got your letter, I say. She nods slowly. I meant every word. I study her face carefully, searching for the performance underneath. For once, I can't find it. That night destroyed me, I whisper before I can stop myself. Mom's eyes immediately fill with tears. I know. No defensiveness. No excuses. Just 2 words. I look toward Lily laughing on the slide with Marcus. You don't get to walk back into her life because you finally understand what you did. The answer catches me off guard. For a long moment, neither of us speaks. Then she says quietly, I don't expect forgiveness, Elizabeth. I just needed you to know, none of it was your fault. My throat tightens painfully. Because wounded children blame themselves for things adults break. And some part of me apparently still needed to hear that. A breeze moves through the trees between us. Finally, I ask the question I've secretly carried for years. Why didn't you come inside that night? Mom closes her eyes instantly. When she answers, her voice shakes. Because I was selfish. And because deep down, I thought you'd survive without me the way I survived without support. The honesty hurts more than lies ever did. But it also feels cleaner somehow. No pretending. Just truth. Marcus walks back over holding Lily's hand. Lily looks up curiously. Mommy, who that? Mom's face crumples instantly. I kneel beside Lily carefully. That's Grandma. Lily studies her for a long moment before giving a tiny wave. Mom waves back shakily, crying silently now. And strangely, I don't feel rage anymore. Only sadness for all the years we lost. 3 weeks pass before I contact Mom again. Even then, it's only a text. Would you like to meet for coffee? Her reply comes almost immediately. Yes, anytime. We meet at a small cafe halfway across town. Neutral ground. Safe ground. Mom arrives early. No dramatic hug. No tears. No pretending everything is normal. Just nervousness. Real nervousness. For the first 20 minutes, conversation stays shallow. Weather. Dad's new apartment. Lily starting pre-kindergarten soon. I sip my coffee carefully. Good. To my surprise, she actually laughs softly. I deserve that. The old version of my mother would have exploded at criticism. This version absorbs it quietly. I think about my childhood suddenly through an entirely different lens. The guilt. The manipulation. The emotional explosions. Not excuses, but explanations. Mom stares down at her untouched coffee. I don't expect a relationship with Lily right now. I just wanted to stop hurting you. The sentence lands heavily between us. Because for years, hurting me never seemed to bother her at all. I study her carefully. You really changed? Mom looks painfully honest when she answers. I'm trying to. And somehow, that matters more than promises. Before leaving, she reaches into her purse slowly. I brought something. It's an old photograph. Me at 5 years old sitting on Dad's shoulders laughing. I barely recognize that little girl. She adored you, Mom whispers. Past tense. I take the photo home and stare at it for a long time that night. Not because everything is fixed. Because healing sometimes begins quietly. For years, I hated this holiday. Too many forced smiles. Too many performances. But this year feels different. Marcus and Lily wake me up with pancakes slightly burned around the edges and a handmade card covered in glitter glue. I cry instantly. Not dramatic tears. Deep, overwhelming ones. Because after everything, that became the most important thing in the world to me. Later that afternoon, my phone buzzes. A message from Mom. Happy Mother's Day. You became the kind of mother you deserved. I stare at the screen for several minutes. I'm still learning. 3 dots appear. Then her reply comes. So am I. That evening, Marcus finds me sitting on the porch watching Lily chase fireflies across the yard. I lean against him quietly. Yeah, I whisper. And for the first time in decades, I truly mean it. Not because the pain disappeared. Not because the past changed. Bright. Carefree. Safe. Everything I once needed. Everything I fought to give her. And as the sun disappears beyond the trees, I finally understand something my parents never taught me. Love is not control. Love is not guilt. Love is showing up when someone needs you most.